What's up, guys? This is James, and this is a little experiment. Basically, I did a photo blog. Well, I'm doing a photo blog of my journey to Moscow for EPICENTER. I just recently got a Leica Q2, and I used to have an M6 a long time ago when I used to shoot film. But it's been about 7, going on 8 years since I've really been shooting photos. Long story why, but in the short story is that I picked up another camera and I'm super happy now. So where the times where you might not have so much to do, the downtime when you're not working and so on, I'm trying to like at events, I'm trying to fill that in parts with photography to show you guys what we actually do. So this is the first of those entries, and it's the journey to EPICENTER basically. So I guess we'll kind of figure out what works and what doesn't work so much, and how to streamline things as we go along. But here we go. So it starts in the airport at Heathrow. I had a flight at about 8:30 in the morning, which normally I have more reasonable times, but the one at the middle of the day was super expensive, so I did the morning one. You might hear some asthma cough, so forgive me for that. So yeah, I like to, even though you get food on the planes and so on, especially the long haul flights, it generally tends to be terrible. So these days I tend to have breakfast at a Gordon Ramsay restaurant in Heathrow Terminal 5, and I'm sure a lot of the staff are familiar with me with me there now. But yeah, I'll avoid the flights on the plane and just the food on the plane, sorry, and I'll just tend to drink vodka instead. Moving to Moscow Airport, one of the two, I landed at one and I left from the other one. But the one I landed on, I was met by Diana, who works for EPICENTER. She's a pretty cool, interesting girl. Had a lot to tell me about and gave me some great recommendations. From the airport to the venue, I felt like it was about like a 2-hour taxi. There's a lot of traffic in Moscow, and I took a picture of the silhouette of the driver, so you can see it's kind of focused where his ear is. So I didn't do too much photography in the hotel. So the next picture is another driver who is driving me to the Yota Arena, which we'll move on to now. The Yota Arena is basically, it's where the ES Force offices are, as well as RuHub. They have permanent studios there, and it's also a LAN center, which is pretty cool. So moving swiftly on, I didn't take a picture of the green room. The green room is basically just like a room with a screen, and so I started taking pictures again. This was the commentary room, so for the studio section, before we were in the live arena on the weekends, this is a picture of the desk basically. So you've got the seats of both commentators. You can see through the glass on the table. We have our own screens to look at, and there's also like a program monitor towards the cameras. So they're all showing the same thing in this particular setup. It can vary from place to place. In some places, you'll get like a PC to use with a screen on the table, which can be out of camera shot, or they'll just feed you a map overview in those, which they did later on in the LAN bit. But at this point, they were all showing the same thing. Now, why are they all showing the same thing, you might ask? Well, in this instance, once we're on camera, it's better that we're looking at the camera basically, but we can still see on that big monitor if they're showing us or what they're showing. Otherwise, it looks weird if we have to look down to see like, are we on camera? Are we not on camera? Basically. Now the next one is the console. This allows us to control our volumes. We have individual volumes. So the director in our ear, we can adjust the volume where we hear him. We can adjust the volume for the co-commentator, for the program in, i.e. the game, all these kind of things. We have talkback as well, so we can hold a button to talk to the director. That cuts our microphones out from the broadcast, so you guys can't hear what we're saying. So if we just want to check, like, are we throwing to break after the game, or throwing to a desk, things like that, or if there's a problem, or if we need like water or something, we can, use those controls. So this is me at the beginning of the day, just going through the rooms to look at the setup, see if I think we need anything changed, as we sometimes do, from place to place. Like the setups do vary wildly depending on the rooms that are available and various other things. So it's good to go there as soon as possible and make sure you can like get any hurdles out of the way before you're live. The next shot is just the first studio that the host and analysts were in. So the host chair's on the left-hand side, the analysts sit on the right-hand side. They had a few, like an M4 or something on the floor, and a dynamic screen at the back, which they could change per match and so on. Nice, well lit studio. It's kind of unusual for the people on the broadcast, in the sense that we're used to standing behind a desk. So these formats are pretty different. And for someone like me or Christine, for example, it's interesting because these styles of chairs are so low to the floor. It's like actually kind of horrible for large people to sit in. So if you look at like a sports broadcast where you have like stools that they sit on, or higher chairs, it's just like generally a lot better. I don't think people realize how much of an issue it is for like very tall people to sit in chairs super low to the ground like that. It just kind of squashes all your junk. So the next shot is just going through the halls of the Rue area. That's the ES Force Christmas tree. And I tried to frame it next to the Freeman painting on the wall. I didn't do a very good job of framing this picture. I was a bit lazy with it, as we can see. I wanted to go back and do it again, but every time people were walking through and I just felt awkward, so I left. The next one is the gallery, the production gallery. There's a little more to the left-hand side, and I wanted to spend some time taking some more individual profiles of the different people and their jobs in this area, which one half of it was for the Russian broadcast, one half was for the English broadcast. I didn't know because it was, in terms of walking area, it was a pretty narrow space, and I didn't want to block people or get in their way. So I just I didn't like hang out in here too much. The door to our room was in here, but again, I didn't want to get in people's way. So like there's a lot of dead space at the top of the picture, which I don't like, but I need to kind of get that consciousness thing out of the way. But I mean, like, you know, I am also a producer myself. I don't really produce much these days, but I know how annoying it is if people are just in your way unnecessarily, so I didn't want to like get in their way. This is just a shot of the hotel. We stayed at a Radisson, so there we go. We were doing the late games every day, but on this day, we had to go downstairs to do a photo shoot. Yeah, generally, like, you know, at these photo shoots, everybody stands semi-diagonally diagonally with their hands folded and stuff. So I wanted to do something more interesting than those generic things. So I came down with like a custom keyboard, something to add some character. And Diana was down here, and she was kind enough to take some pictures of me doing some ridiculous poses. I did also that, like, they wanted loads of different poses, and I honestly didn't know why. And I was thinking, oh, look, this is taking a while, or going on for a while. So I grabbed a stool from the bar and sat on that, and various other things. And then I sat with Diana for a while and had a chat with her. And God, I forgot the other girl's name. Vera. I'm pretty sure her name is Vera. So we were messing around. I was just explaining some stuff with the camera. I took some shots of my keyboard. Vera took a picture of her, which I think is kind of cool as well, which is this one. And just messing around with the keyboard. I don't think they've seen one like mine before, so we're just having a chat about that. And with my camera, the Leica, you can take a picture using your phone, which connects by Bluetooth and then Wi-Fi. So that's just a nerd picture about that. Anyway, back in the studio now, there's a Virtus Pro tree as well. So the bauble's really nice for the Virtus Pro. The colors work real well. Here's an ES Force bauble. It's not amazing, not very sexy, but the Virtus Pro one is. So in the makeup room, I thought I'd take pictures of Dan doing makeup. The makeup girl was super nice as well. So Dan looks like Dracula here. He looks super white, man. He's supposed to be like quarter Indian. Can't see a lot of that right now. Anyway, I had some time to kill. So Olia, who's coming up later, she showed me the land center next door, which is really cool. You saw a video of it earlier. They also have private rooms. On a different day where I wasn't working until later, I came early and played some CS. Okay, yeah, so here's a picture of Dan commentating in the studio. Just took the one picture. Didn't really need more than that. Colors are quite nice. Colors on his back are pretty cool. The Leica's pretty sick of colors, man. I'm surprised it's not color cast, but yeah, it's better than I expected. So then we had a day off. Then it was Friday, the day off, and we went to Red Square, which I went to when I was here for Blast Moscow. I didn't take enough pictures of the train stations. I took one picture which was kind of focused on the people, but I think I could have done another one just on the ceiling and things, because you can see it's really pretty there. Here's a picture of Olia. She was a talent handler for the event, and I have to say she is like one of the most awesome ones that I've had. She was very funny. She was very organized, and she was just like witty and just great to be around. So that was really cool. In Red Square, there were lots of people doing TikTok videos. So here are some guys doing some kind of TikTok dance. There are also lots of people just taking nice pictures of each other, which is kind of cute. I think in different cultures it might be obnoxious, but in Russia it was kind of like cute and innocent. So that was cool. There were some wedding photos there's like a big mall, I don't know what it's called, fronting Red Square, and inside some of the doors we saw these pictures being taken. There was a guy walking around with a rat head and tail with Christmas lights around him. So this is him posed for my photo. I got a more candid one of him earlier, but I was a bit scrambling because my camera was turned off and I wasn't really ready at all. And I'm not focusing with manual focus right now on my Leica. I'm using autofocus, which I would like to change, but because the rangefinder's digital, it's all a little weird. So I need to try and get used to it and like force myself to use it for a whole day and decide which one I want to use, because it's all too automatic right now. And there was a store with Matryoshka dolls. This guy was having a look at them, and then this woman came along with her cat and just put it on the table. So I took 2 pictures of her cat. I wanted to take one of her as well with her cat, because she was if you look on Twitter you might see her, but basically like she definitely has a lot of character, her as a human being, with the cat as well, but she said no, which I should have just taken one. I don't know, maybe I don't have a trustworthy face. There's some guys, Maui Snake and Hawker, outside. There's a picture of like the side of it. It's pretty. It's a pretty place. Some guy was doing a video with a Christmas dude just off of Red Square, and then we got some more pictures on the train going down. Got some pictures of the inside of the train carriages. Got a picture of Olia again with Matt giving his smouldering thing on the left-hand side. So Diana recommended us a restaurant, which was fully booked, unfortunately. So we ended up at a bloody grill place, which was nice enough, but, you know, it wasn't like the Russian food we were looking for, but we didn't want to walk around for too long because it was cold. But they had this cool green bread. I shot this with macro, but my depth of field was too shallow, as you can see here, so I had to use a higher f-stop. Yeah. Hawker and Maui Snake, Olia and Matt and I went out for the day. We had a great time. Good group of people. Matt had his camera as well. He's got a Sigma, like a modular Sigma camera, so I got to nerd out about cameras a lot with him, which was really awesome. And this is a picture he took of Hawker and Maui Snake. Then back on the train, going back towards the hotel, I tried to like manually focus on a point to catch this train coming in, and I think the focus was in the right place, but it didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. But here's another picture, which I think is a good picture. And there's another picture of Olia on the train. She's a good subject for photos. She knows how to look cute for a camera. Then there's some pictures here from EPICENTER. I went in and popped a picture of Matt and Hawker commentating together. So this is a live land segment. So if we look at a picture of the stage, behind the stage, you had like a long row. Well, you had the interview areas, and then a bit further back, let's say 20 feet, not really a lot, you had a line of rooms where you had like the English, Russian, analyst desks and commentary. So in the back, I've got like a random picture of Navi hanging out, I think after a match. I can't remember if it was after or before. There's Cadian having an interview. And then there's a picture from my POV behind the desk. So you can see we have another console, a different one to the one previous, but I'm familiar with both of them. And if anybody wasn't, you could just ask for an explanation. But I think those of us who are well-traveled, we will have come across most of these. There aren't too many consoles you see from place to place. Sometimes you get no console, which isn't great. But this one, you could adjust everything you wanted to, so that was fine. It's always important. There aren't many where you can, for example, adjust your co-commentator's volume separate to the volume of the game. And we could do that on these, which is really awesome. So again, we've got our own screens rather than PCs. This time during the game, when the game was live, they were just a map overview, and then the program was under the screen there. So I put some Matryoshka dolls on the table as well to kind of spice up the English broadcast a little, which was cool. So this was, I guess, the first day of the live finals. So to Ruhub studio, we got taxis, but here we got like a whole bus got filled with people, all the broadcasters. So here's a picture from inside the bus, and just so there's no confusion, the front of the bus had the EPICENTER sign. So I guess we were back the next day. Oh yeah, the first day I tried to take pictures on the stage, but like in the middle of the day, and I got told no. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go on the stage next day, and then I'll ask. I'm not gonna ask. I'm just gonna do it before doors were open and so on. So I wasn't getting in anybody's way, but took this picture on the stage. I wasn't sure like what to shoot. One of the girls was doing something, but like on one of the desks, making sure everything was clean and blah blah blah. But I wasn't in the right position to make it a nice picture. Again, it's a fixed lens, so whatever. But this was quite nice. It's just a nice example. Like zooming in, you can even see the serial number on the camera, which is kind of crazy. Then I took one of the trophy, and then I took one of the trophy with the big CS symbol behind it. What was cool about this was that when the players came out, this thing rotated sideways, and then the players came out either side, which is really cool. So then this is the makeup room for the land section. I was taking pictures of Potter, and I said, I said, Potter, you're really gorgeous. And she started giggling. She just couldn't stop laughing. There's our makeup girl again. She's cool. And there's Hawker having a chat with Olia. Signing session. And then the last picture here is in the lounge in Moscow, the other airport. I think this one is DMO. This one I think is a newer airport. It's pretty cool. But that's like, I guess, all my pictures from this event with the Leica. So again, I think like from event to event, I'll have a better idea of what I want to do. But this is it for the time being. So feedback welcome. If you enjoyed this, if you don't enjoy it, then tell me why either way. And I'll see you for next event. There's plenty of other videos to come and other bloody blah. But yeah, cheers for tuning in if you watch this.